My name is John the Icon Elias. I fight out of Fresno, California, and I've been training Muay Thai for 8 years now. I've always been athletic, and I've always just wanted to see where it can take me. And I'm constantly trying to improve myself in the gym, and I find myself thinking about working out more than any other day job. I'm a lot harder on myself than I think anybody else is. I'm kind of a perfectionist. I think most people say I'm more of a technical fighter. More of, I use technique over just brute strength. Right now we're doing four times a day, 5:30 a.m., 11:30, 5 p.m., and then we go to the pools at 8 o'clock and swim laps every night. I'm not just a meathead fighter. I think it takes not only an athlete, but it takes a business person as well. They have to sell themselves. They have to be able to go to, meet sponsors. They have to be able to sign contracts and go through legal paperwork and do all sorts of things that doesn't just involve, working out in the gym and throwing punches. My goal is to make it to the top. I really think that I can be a champion, and I'm not doing it just to be a small-time local fighter. I'm not doing it just to stay in shape. I'm not doing it just for recreational reasons. I want to be a champion, and I really think that I can, and I'm ready to prove it.
That was John the Icon Elias. John has a fight coming up at the Save Mart Center on February 13th at 5 p.m. Thank you for coming on the show, John.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, do you hail from Fresno, California?
Pretty much. I'm from Madera Ranchos, but anybody from there knows you're basically from Fresno.
It's just a short shot up 41 and Avenue 12, isn't it?
Yep, that's right.
All right. So, how long have you been in martial arts?
Going on about 8 years now.
Okay. What got you interested?
Actually, I did boxing when I was 10 through 12 years old, so I always had the form and a little bit of drive to do combat sport. But then in high school, in about, I think 2006, I met Josh Koscheck. He came to my high school. Yeah. He came to my high school and he did a signing and gave us all pictures and just gave us his signature and talked to us about the sport. And ever since then, I think a week later, I signed up and I started taking classes, and just been a snowball effect ever since then.
Great. So you train with Josh Koscheck currently? Or?
Not currently, no. I train under Jasper Toyaba.
Okay. And where do you train at?
Just off of Van Ness and 41 here in downtown.
Okay.
At Buhawe. It's called Team Buhawe.
All right. So what got you interested? I mean, did you just go up to your parents one day and say, I want to box, I want to be a fighter, I want to take martial arts? What got you started?
I think there's just something inside a person, competitiveness, something that you have to see where you can go and take everything to the next level. I've just always had that competitive drive.
It was a TV show when I was in high school, I'm giving away my age here, called Kung Fu, David Carradine, that sparked my interest in martial arts. I was really interested in the philosophy. And I finally found a Kung Fu school here in Fresno, John Cho's Kung Fu school, and that's where I got most of my training. Yeah,
we're familiar with John Cho. We do some sparring matches with him and some different events. We see him, everybody in the profession knows everybody.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Yeah.
Especially around Fresno. People think it's a small town, and in many ways it is, even though we have a population of over 500,000 now.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this upcoming fight. Now, how many fights have you had?
When I had 9 amateur fights, but now I'm doing my pro record, so this will be my 3rd pro fight.
Okay.
I'm 2-0 currently.
Where have your other fights been?
Both of my first fights were at the Eagle Mountain Casino in Porterville for the Warriors cage.
Okay. All right, so you're fighting in your hometown now.
Yeah.
At a big venue.
Yeah.
The Save Mart Center.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I'm very excited about it. I love it. It's the home crowd, everybody's going to be my friends, and family can all come and see, and it's all ages. I'm excited about that, so my little sister can come watch. At casinos, it's only 18 and over.
Right.
But I'm very excited about it.
Great.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do to train for it besides the physical aspect of it? Like diet,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, everybody knows you have to cut weight. You have to make. I walk around at 225, maybe 227,
Really?
and I fight at 205. So usually I have to cut about 20 pounds before the fight. So diet is definitely an important part of the whole fight game. You know, that's what you really have to concentrate on. That, you know, chicken and rice, and eggs, fish. That's about it. Gets old sometimes, but you gotta get used to it.
How long before a fight do you start getting into fight mode? Like the diet, you don't eat a diet like that all the time?
Not all the time. Usually I'll do like a 6-week real intense training camp. You know, you can't go full bore all year round.
No.
Nobody can. So you do about 6 weeks is usually enough time to really slim your body down, get that diet in there, and get the heavy cardio up.
So what are some of the other things that you do besides actually fighting for your workout?
Well, I mean, a lot of it has to do with, you know, going to the gym, you know, lifting and doing weight training and swimming, a lot of things like that. Also, I'll do a lot of, you know, just hiking in the mountains or in the park, you know.
We're in a great location for that. We live near Yosemite.
Definitely.
Right. Or, you know, you can just take an afternoon, run up to Millerton Lake.
Yep. We do that sometimes. We go up to Sky Harbor, which is just off of Millerton Lake.
That's quite a run. If you run up the hill and then back down. I used to bike race, and that was one of our training places. Is we would ride that. Boy, riding a bike up Sky Harbor Drive is something else.
Yeah.
So, now what do you do to mentally prepare for your fights?
You know, the whole fight game is 50% mentality. I mean, yeah, if you don't have it mentally, you're not going to ever have it. And mentality, I mean, you have to prepare yourself, but if you don't mentally have it, then you're never going to make it in the sport.
How do you build your own confidence?
Well, going through the training that we go through, you know, our trainer takes us up sometimes to San Jose, to AKA in San Jose, where the big-time celebrities train at, like Cain Velasquez, the heavyweight champion, Daniel Cormier, the light heavyweight contender. And I actually was lucky enough to spar with Daniel Cormier like a couple months ago. And so that's definitely a confident booster, you know, knowing that I get to train and can compete a little bit with somebody at that level. You know, so just the training regimen that you go through is so difficult. You know, if you make it through it, you're feeling pretty confident about yourself. You
know what I like to do is watch old movies about whatever it is I'm interested in. Like, have you ever just pulled out some of the old martial arts movies like Best of the Best or Rocky or something and watch those to sort of get in mode for a fight? Definitely. I'm up. When I get in bed at night, I'm up for another hour at least, just watching YouTube videos on fights that are online, or sometimes I'll watch old clips from Muhammad Ali or, you know, or Mike Tyson. I'm going to recommend one for you. Don the Dragon Wilson. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Don is a friend of mine. He's done a couple of shows with me. Not only is he just this phenomenal fighter, but he's a great guy. Yeah. And so that makes me want to say, watch this guy. Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll be meeting Bill Superfoot Wallace soon, too. Oh, really? So, and I have met Chuck Liddell. Chuck and I have a little joke between us, but I can't tell it on television. Oh, we'll keep that private. Anyway, tell us about your opponent. He's it's kind of typical, you know, you're tall, skinny striker getting challenged by a short wrestler. He's a little bit younger than me. He's shorter than me. He's like 5'10". I'm 6'3", 6'4". But we're the same weight class, and he's I watched a couple of his videos, and he goes straight for a takedown, so I'm kind of expecting that. Okay. Yeah. But I'm not worried about it. Well, good. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of our favorite films. Okay. I know that we all have some film somewhere that has influenced us somehow. As I mentioned earlier, Kung Fu was one of my biggest influences in martial arts. How about you? What are some of the movies in the past few years that may have influenced you in fighting?
Well, like I just previously stated, Muhammad Ali has always been a huge inspiration to me.
Okay, but I mean Hollywood-made movies.
Oh, Hollywood-made movies.
Like $1 Billion Baby or $1 Million Baby or...
$1 Million Baby is a good one. I've always loved Rocky, the Rocky series.
I love Rocky.
Yeah.
I watched it again recently.
$1 Million Baby is good, but it's a little sad, so I try to stay away from it.
Yeah, no, I watched Rocky again a few weeks ago, and I just love Burgess Meredith.
Yeah.
You had talent, but you're nothing but a leg breaker.
Yeah, it always gets me worked up, ready to fight after I watch that video.
Great. Okay, so if you were going to talk to someone, say a young kid's coming up now, 12, 13 years old, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them to just give it a shot while you're still young. You know, a lot of people think that it's something that you can't pursue. It's something that you can't have a career in. You know, there's a lot of people that are good at wrestling, good at some form of martial arts when they're younger. Their parents have them in classes. And then they graduate high school or graduate college and they just kind of forget about it and they lose all their skill. But you got to remember that you can actually have a career either as a trainer or as a fighter or in the Olympics. You know, there's Olympic wrestling is back in effect. There's also Olympic martial arts, Olympic boxing. There's many areas that you can have a career in a combat sport, you know.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, John, and I wish you the best of luck in your fight. I hope I can make it out for
Thank you very much. Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Jane Hurricane Katrina Banks. Wow, that was Jane Hurricane Katrina Banks. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Debbie.
Now, is Katrina your real middle name, or?
Actually, it's not. I got the nickname Hurricane Katrina from my coach, Jasper, and he says it was because I'm a strong striker, and so he decided to give me that name, Hurricane Katrina.
That's great. So was it during that time of hurricane or shortly after?
Shortly after.
Okay. Now, where are you originally from?
I'm actually originally from San Jose, California, so the Bay Area. I moved out here for college, and we ended up staying here, and we bought a house and established our family here.
Great. Did you go to Fresno State?
I did the nursing program, so I'm a registered nurse at Children's Hospital. Actually, now it's Valley Children's.
That's amazing because, number one, you look very young. And number two, you're a fighter. And I don't think that people expect a fighter to also be a registered nurse.
Right. I guess it balances. It goes hand in hand. I actually started martial arts when I was 4. So I trained with Ernie Reyes in the Bay Area. I went up and I got my 3rd degree black belt in martial arts. And I also trained with Kung Lee. He's also fights in the UFC right now. And so I've actually grown up doing martial arts. I came out here and I was looking for that martial arts background, and I ran into Jasper. And at that point, he opened in April, and he asked me if I was ready to start training, and it was my time. So.
Okay, so that was April of 2014?
April of 2014, correct.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, now I understand that you've got something you're looking forward to this April.
Yes, so in April, I'm actually signed up to try out in Arizona to represent the USA national team. So if I'm if I succeed in those tryouts, in November, I will be traveling to Thailand to represent USA. So my goal is to make the Team USA.
Fabulous. Are you able to take time off from your nursing to do this?
Luckily, my job is flexible, and Valley Children's is very supportive. And so, yes, I can take time off.
Wow.
Yeah, busy.
Okay, so you say that you started martial arts when you were 4 years old. Did you go to mom and dad and say, hey, I want to take martial arts? Or did dad say, you're going to learn this?
No, actually, my mom wanted to put me into martial arts. She wanted me to get that exposure because of stranger danger. My dad actually boxed in the Philippines as a younger child. He's not Manny Pacquiao, though. And so I just kept going. And as an adult, it was something I wanted to continue on with.
That's great.
And so it's something I would definitely pass on to my children. Yes.
Absolutely. If I'd had children, they would have been in martial arts, or like you say, stranger danger.
Right. Yeah. And it's not only that. You get also the, it helps you build confidence. You also, it helps with self-discipline. There's also a ton of other aspects besides just the physical part of martial arts.
Absolutely. I used to teach a program called Mind, Body, Spirit with Stuart Kwan. We'd go to the Boys and Girls Club, where these kids may not have been able to afford to go to a martial arts school. Right. And we trained, and it was just wonderful, great fun. So let's talk a little bit about some of our influences. Okay. I've mentioned before that I believe the TV show Kung Fu is what really inspired me to get involved in martial arts. What was your inspiration?
My inspiration was actually my mom. And so my mom put me into martial arts, and I continued on with it. When I was I'm 30 now, so when I was 20, my mom passed away with cancer. Oh, I'm sorry. And so that's okay. And so I kind of needed to go back to my childhood, and so getting back into martial arts actually, it just brought me back to my normal routine, and going to trainings and competing and going to tournaments. And so it's the exact same thing. And so I'm just picking up where I left off.
Wow. Was your mother a martial artist?
No, she was not. Oh. She was not a martial artist.
Just new.
Yeah, just new.
Now, are you an only child?
I'm not. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. Mm-hmm. So 3 out of 4 of us have our black belts in Taekwondo. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually the only one that continued on with it.
When was your first fight? How old were you?
Let's see. So I got my first black belt when I was 8. And
wow. You're amazing.
So my first fight, I was probably 6. Wow. And I actually have a story behind that. My dad, there was this tournament in Las Vegas, and he wanted me to fight in that tournament. The winner, you would get a 6-foot trophy, mm-hmm. and I was 6 years old. And so in order to attend this tournament, you have to have been a black belt. Well, I was only a green or purple belt, one of the beginner levels. Mm-hmm. And so he took me to the downtown shop, bought me a black belt, and he said, we're going. And so
I love it.
We went to Vegas. I won the trophy. I still have it. Now it's it's actually in my office in my home, and I have the 6-foot trophy from Vegas that I won with my purchased black belt.
Isn't that funny? But you know, here's the thing about color belts in America, right. Is a green belt from one school can sometimes be better than a black belt from mm-hmm. another school. I've seen places test, and sometimes I don't know how else to say this, but I've been unimpressed. It really is about the person, how much time they put into training, their spirit. I was considered a black belt by many other instructors. Right. When my own instructor kept me at a certain level. It's like, in this school, this is where you're at. Other schools are saying, oh no, she should be competing as a black belt. So I understand that. I think that's great. Good for your dad. Right. Going down, because really, it's not about the color of your belt.
Right. It's about the training, and it's about the training you do. I know when we're in fight camps, Jasper has trainings at 5 a.m., 11 a.m., 5 p.m., and 7 p.m. And so you're training 3 to 4 times a day, almost every single day. And so that's JP's currently in training camp, and he's on that current regimen. So.
Okay, now when you fight,
yes,
you have a big audience.
Yes.
Does that ever bother you?
I don't think it does because like I said, I grew up competing and doing tournaments, and I think that kind of helps me out. Yeah. So.
Oftentimes, the first time a fighter is in front of an audience fighting, they tend to kind of lose it, or if they're in front of a camera.
Right. So definitely, I would say my first Muay Thai fight, which was back in October, I actually fought at the Pac-12 fight.
Oh, yes. I know Junior Korea.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that. My nerves, of course, they were shot, and I had to just relax. And I also do yoga.
Oh, good.
And so yoga and Muay Thai kind of balance each other out.
Great.
And so I kind of have to put myself back into that mental center, that spiritual center, and it helps me get through it.
Great. Yes. I've practiced Tai Chi, and
Yes, Tai Chi.
I have actually taught yoga classes. I won't name the gym, but
Right.
I've taught yoga classes. So just the stretching,
Yes,
the relaxation, the meditation, it all ties in.
Right, yeah. I think it helps me balance life. I have a career. I do Muay Thai. I have children. I have family, a husband, and life can be chaotic for anybody. And I think training in Muay Thai kind of helps me balance that out, and also doing yoga, that also helps me with that.
Great. How old are your children?
I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
And boys, girls,
I
one
have
of each?
2 boys.
2 boys.
And I also, actually the 3-year-old started training with Jasper. So Jasper has a kids class on Saturdays at 10 o'clock. He also does the women's and men's class throughout the week. But for right now, the kids are on Saturdays.
How often do you train per week?
I try to get in there at least 4 times a week. When fight camp comes around, then I try to go 6, sometimes even 7 days a week.
Okay.
So definitely I have to have support from my husband.
Absolutely. Now,
Because somebody has to watch the kids while I'm training. But there have been times where I bring my kids to the gym and they just sit there and play while I'm training.
Okay. Now, does he do martial arts, your husband?
Actually, he played in the NFL.
Oh.
Yeah. So he played football at Fresno State, and that's actually what brought me to the Fresno area. And so he does sports, and he doesn't fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I met a professional football player many years ago at a martial arts school I was training at the time. His name was Alan Autry.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
we remain friends to this day.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's interesting the people that you do meet through martial arts.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Jane Hurricane Katrina, it has been a pleasure interviewing you.
Thank you.
And I wish you well, and I do hope you represent the United States.
Thank you. I hope so too. I'll try my best.
We'll be keeping our fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Martial Arts Mania.